Hi, welcome back to Maths Learning Groups. Now, today we are going to look at paper one, which is a ACS prelim paper 2020. So this is going to be a tough paper one, right? It's not easy. So what we'll be doing is we'll be running through all the questions, and it'll be more effective for you if you first try to do the paper one first before you look at the video. Alright, so let's look at question one and let's run through the questions. So hopefully before you watch the video, you have done all the questions already. Okay, so how many 10,000s are there in 4,710,000? Now, when you do paper one, there are shortcuts. Okay, there are shortcuts that will help you to do faster. So all you need to do is be aware of the shortcuts. So for example, 10,000. So 10,000 has how many zeros? There are actually 4 zeros. So to know how many 10,000s are there, you just have to cover 4 zeros and you will see the number 471. So there are 471 10,000s, which is your answer number 2. Okay, so that's how we use a shortcut to do a bit faster. Okay, the next question. Alright, so for question 2, how many figures have at least one line of symmetry? Now, you will need to understand what is at least. At least means you have one or more. So for the square, there is at least one line. So you actually have two lines. Not only that, you can even cut it diagonally. So as long as the square has equal sides, there will be more than one line of symmetry. How about the rhombus? Now, rhombus has all equal sides. Okay, all equal sides as well. So you can also cut it like that. So you have two lines of symmetry. For a circle, you have infinite. Infinite means limitless. Okay, there'll be many lines of symmetry. So it's uncountable. Now for parallelogram, you'll find that you don't have any line of symmetry. Some of you will try to cut it this way. But if you cut it this way, what will happen? You'll find that when you try to fold the parallelogram across the line of symmetry, it doesn't fit on one side. So they are not equal, right? Both sides are not equal. So parallelogram has no line of symmetry. So you cannot cut this way. So neither can you cut this way. So it doesn't give you two equal sides. If you fold it, what will happen? You will see something coming out on the other side. So what happened for parallelogram? There is no line of symmetry on the parallelogram. So how many figures have at least one line of symmetry? So your answer will be 3. Okay, so there are 3 figures that have at least one line of symmetry. Okay, number 3, how do you change the mixed number into a decimal? So again, there's a shortcut. So what's the shortcut? The shortcut is to make the denominator into a 10, into a 100 or 1000. Because if you can make the denominators into 10, 100 or 1000, you will be able to get the decimal faster. So for example, if I make the denominator into 1000, so I will get 6 and 4 over 1000. So what's the decimal? The decimal will be 6.004. Okay, that's how you apply the shortcut to get the decimal faster. So your answer will be number 4. Okay, let's go to next one. Now, at 8 a.m., a swimming pool was completely filled with water. And from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., water was drained from the swimming pool. And the line graph shows the volume of water in the swimming pool from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can see the water level is coming down, or the water volume is getting lesser. So what is the lesson for line graph? You will need to put the numbers on the line graph. So you can see that over here there are 2 gaps, which is 5 meter cube. So one gap will be 5 divided by 2. That will give you 2.5 meter cube. So at 8 a.m. you have 25 meter cube of water. 9 a.m. is 20, and then this will be so you have 10 plus 2.5. 10 plus 2.5 will give you 12.5, and the next one will be 7.5, and the next one will be 5, and this is 0. Alright, so what did the question say? So during which 1 hour period was the degrees the greatest? So what you have to do is, you will have to find the degrees. So to find the degrees, this is how you find. You have to take 25 minus 20, that is a degrees of 5. 20 minus 12.5, that is a degrees of 7.5 meter cube. 12.5 minus 7.5, that is degrees of 5, right? And then 7.5 minus 5, that is a degrees of 2.5. And then 5 minus 0, that's a degrees of 5. So which is the biggest degrees? If you look carefully, your biggest degrees will be from here until here because you have the biggest number. Now look at the orange numbers, you have the biggest degrees. So from 9 to 10 a.m. you will have the biggest, alright, the biggest degrees. So your answer will be 9 and 10, answer number 2. Okay, alright, so let's go to the next question, and let's go to question number 5. Alright, question number 5, the table shows the number of art fiesta tickets sold over a period of 5 days. The total tickets sold was 1,380. What is the average number of tickets sold on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? So what you can do is, you know the total number of tickets, which is 1380. So you can now find the total of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you take 1380 and you minus the two numbers. So I'm going to use my calculator so we can do a little faster. So you take 325 plus 380, and this is your 705. Then you take the total 1380 minus 705. You get the total of the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And to find the average, you just have to divide by 3. So you can see that the average of all the 3 days is 225. So your answer will be number 2, right? Okay, so let's go to the next one. And question 6, Isaac ran round a circular track 3 times for his training. And the radius of the track was 36 meters. So how far did he run? So are you looking at area or circumference of the circle? So he's running around a circular track, right? So it means that you are running around the circumference, not the area. So the radius is 56 meters. So how do you find the circumference of one round? So one round will be pi d, which is the formula that you must remember. So you have pi times diameter. So how do you get the diameter? You take the radius times 2 to get the diameter. So 36 times 2, you will get 112, right? And then how to do faster? Without calculator, you cancel, divide by 7, and 112 divide by 7, and you will get 16. Then you take 22 times 16, and you will get 352. So one round is 352 meters, but he ran 3 times. So you should take 352 meters, and then you times 3. And if you times 3, you will get the how far he ran, which is 1056 meters. So answer number 4. Okay, let's go to the next one. And a tank measure 40 cm by 15 by 30 is half filled with water. So find the water in the tank. So it means that the whole tank is one hole. Okay, one hole, or you call it 2 units. So 2 units will be 40 times 15 times 30. So shortcut without using the calculator, you take 4 times 15, that will be 60. 60 times 3 will be 180. And there are 2 zeros, so you put 2 zeros behind. So 2 units is 18,000. So half is 1 unit. Alright, half means 1 unit. So you take 180,000 or 18,000 divided by 2, you will get 90,100. Okay, 90,100. But this is cm cube, right? Cm cube. So you have to change it to what? Change it to liters. So you divide by what? Divide by 1,000. So 9,000 divide by 1,000, you will get 9 liters. So what is the water in the tank? Which is number 1, right? Okay, so it's not very hard at the moment. Alright, until now it's quite easy. So what is the fractions from the smallest to the greatest? To compare the fractions, you have to make them all the same type. You have to make them into all mixed number or into all improper fractions. So we are going to change them all into mixed number. So 5/4 is 1 1/4. Or for those who forgot how to change into mixed number, you have to divide. So every time there's a fraction, it means divide. So 5 divided by 4, and you will get remainder 1. So 1 and 1/4, which is the mixed number. And then the 10/9 will be 1 and 1/9. So you do the same thing, do your long division. And then what's the next step? The next step is to make the denominator all the same. So what is the common multiple? So now you will have to find your common multiple. So you have 4, 6, and 9. So is there a shortcut to find the common multiple? Yes, look at the biggest number. You get 18. Can 18 divided by 6? Can. 18 divided by 4? Cannot. So go on. 27. 27 cannot divide by 4. So that's not a common multiple. How about the next one? 36. 36 can divide by 6. 36 can also divide by 4. So 36 is the common multiple. So I'm going to make them all into 36. 6 times 6, 1 times 6. And then 4 times 9 and 1 times 9. Right? 4 times 9, 1 times 9. And then this will be 9 times 4 and 1 times 4. So now can you see which is the smallest? The smallest will be 10 over 9. Okay, so you have to start with 10 over 9. Okay, 10 over 9, which is over here. Okay, start with the smallest. And then after that, you will get the next bigger number, which is 1 and 1 over 6. Alright, that's the next bigger, which is over here. And then the smallest, the biggest, okay? The biggest one will be 1 and 9 over 36, which is 5 quarter. So 5 quarter is the biggest. So your answer has to be number 4. Alright, so that's how you compare fractions. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, one of the angles of a trapezium is 35 degrees. This is one of the questions that most students they are unable to solve because they just don't know how to do. Now, so what are the possible values of the remaining angles? Now, to solve this problem, you must first of all know what is a trapezium. A trapezium is a four-sided figure that has two lines that are parallel. And not only that, the angles in the trapezium, the sum of angles add together is 360 degrees. So this is what students they forgot, right? They forgot about this property. So if one angle is 55 degrees, then what you should do is you should find the sum of the other three angles. So that will give you 305 degrees. Okay, then you look at 1, 2, 3, 4. So which three numbers add together is 305. So if I add the first three numbers here, so add them together, 115 plus 55 plus 125, I get 295 degrees. Okay, let me just double check. 115 plus 55 plus 125, you will get 295 degrees. So answer number 1 is wrong. How about number 2? You take 115 plus 55 and plus 65. Oh, you get the answer wrong. Okay, so the answer is also not correct because if we add them together, that will give you 235 degrees. Okay, then keep going, right? Keep going and see which number add together is 305 degrees. Number 3, you will find that it's different as well. If you look at number 4, you take 115 plus 65 plus 125, you get 305 degrees. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is to remember that the sum of angles in a four-sided figure, which is a trapezium, right, add together is 360 degrees, right? And that's how I get number 4. Okay, now for question 10, again, this is also one question that most students have, they don't quite know how to do. So how many gaps? If you look at the number 9, there are 3 gaps. How do you know there are 3 gaps? This is 1 gap, 2, and 3 gaps. So what do you call 3 gaps? 3 units. And how big is 3 gaps? You take 6 minus 5. You get 1. So 3 gaps is 1. So one gap is actually how big? One gap is actually 1 over 3. Okay, 1 over 3 or 0.333. So this is something that maybe some students may not be aware. So without the calculator, 1 over 3 is actually 0.33333. So which means that the number here must be 5.33, okay? And the number over here must be, you add another 0.3333, you will get 5.66666, and that's how you get the numbers in the middle. And so what is x? Now your x is lesser than 5.666. So it cannot be 5.190 because where is 5.190? It has to be somewhere on here. That is your 5.190. Where is your 5.495? Your 5.495 is more over here. Alright, somewhere in between. Alright, and your 5.725 is overshot. Is somewhere over here already. So it's not pointing at the arrow. Alright, it's not at the arrow. So which means that the value that is the closest, right, which is your 5.590, which is bigger than your 5.495. Let me just put over here. 5.495. This is your 5.190. This is your 5.725. So your 5.495 has to be at the arrow there because it's 5.590. Okay, wrong number. So this is your 5.590 has to be at the arrow because it's bigger than 5.495 and it's also smaller than 5.666. So that is where the arrow, alright, that is at the arrow. So your answer is number 3, 5.590. Okay, which is closest to the reading. Okay, let's go to number 11. Okay, number 11. And what do we have? Okay, now again, most students have difficulty doing this, but what's the lesson here? Model drawing. Because you see fractions, so you draw the model. That's as simple as that. So, Mr. Lee has some magazines. He sold 315 magazines from Monday to Friday. So you draw a rectangle, cut the 315. This is your Monday to Wednesday. And where's the remainder? You look at the fraction. The fraction is talking about the remainder, and you cut the remainder into 5 boxes, and 2 boxes were sold on Saturday and Sunday. So that's how you draw the model. It's not very hard. And the rest of the boxes must be the left, right? And then continue. The magazine's left was 1/4 of what he had at first. So if you were to do some arrow pointing, the 1 is the magazine left. Okay, the magazine's left, and the 4 is the at first. So where is the left? The left is over here. This is the left. Okay, which is 1. Okay, 1, and then where is all the magazine? All the magazine is from here until the end of the rectangle, right? The red rectangle, the start of the red rectangle to the end of the red rectangle, there must be altogether 4. Okay, because there are 4 boxes at first. But how are you going to cut 4 boxes? So there's a little problem there because it's not proportional. Like for example, this is 1 box left. Then there must be 3 boxes on the left side, right? So that you get 3/4. But you find that if you cut like that, it's a bit not proportional. So what do? You may not want to cut. You may just want to call it units or call it parts, right? Parts. Like you have 1 part, then here will be 3 parts. So that's another way to not cut, right? If you find that you cannot cut it proportionally, then you put parts inside. Why do you put parts? Because on top you have the units. So you have parts and units. So there's a method here called parts and units model. So your 1 part is 3 units. So I can actually change it to 3 units. And your 3 parts will be 9 units. Am I correct? 1 part is 3 units. 3 parts will be 3 times 3, 9 units. And then you can find how many units is 315. You take 9 minus 2, right? You get 7 units. So your 7 units is 315. Then your 1 unit will be 315 divided by 7. So your 1 unit is 45. So how many magazines did he have at first? Which is over here. There will be 12 units. So you take 45 times 12. So 45 times 12, you get 540. So there are 540 magazines at first. So answer number 1. So what's the lesson here? The model drawing. So every time you see fractions, you just draw your model. But the question is, do you know how to draw the model? So you need to practice, right? When you practice, then you will be able to draw something like this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 12, how do you find the shaded area? There is a method here again. The shaded area is not regular. So what you can do is you can actually create a regular shape like this, so that you have a regular rectangle. That's a regular shape. And you find the area of the entire figure. Okay, find the area of the whole thing. Then you take out those that you don't want. For example, you created a big rectangle. Then you will see something like this. Okay, you will see a triangle here that you don't want. You will see a rectangle here that is also what you don't want. And then you see a triangle, and which is also what you don't want. And you minus them away. Right, you cut them away, you get the shaded part. Okay, so let's find the entire area. So the entire area is, how do you find? You find the side, the unknown side. So you have 7, you have 6. Alright, so that'll be 13. Okay, and then there are 3 squares. So what do you know about squares? All the sides are equal, right? 3 squares. So this side is 4 cm, and this side must be 7 cm because there's a square there. So every side is equal. So which means that here, what's the length? Which is 11 cm. So what's the entire area? You take 11 times 13, right? 11 times 13, and then you do your working, and you will get 143, which is the entire area. Alright, then let's find one by one. Let's find those shapes that we don't want. So what's the area of this rectangle? So you have 6, the length is 6, and the breadth is 4. So you have 6 times 4, 24, and you circle because you're going to minus all these numbers away. Alright, then how do you find the area of this triangle? So you have half. You always start with the half first. Half to find the area of triangle. There's always a half in front. Then you times 13. And what's the height here? The height here will be 7. So half times 13 times 7, you get a decimal, right? So 13 times 7, then divide by 2, and you will get 45.5. So this is what you don't want. And then how about this triangle? Same thing. You take half again times base. The base is 7. Okay, from here to here is 7, right? And the height is 11. So 7 times 11, then divide by 2, and you will get 38.5. Okay, and then what do? You add them all together. So you take 24 plus 45.5 plus 38.5. You add them together, and what do you get? So you add them together, you will get 108, which is the total unshaded. And then you take 143, which is the area of the whole figure, minus the unshaded, and you will get the shaded. And your answer should be 35. So you have 35 cm square. So the shaded area, okay, the shaded area will be 35 cm square. So answer is number 2. Alright. And what question is that? This is question number 12. Answer number 2. Yes, so the answer key is correct, 35 cm square. Alright, so there's a method here which is to create a regular shape and take out all the regular shapes that you don't want to find the shaded part. Okay, let's go to the next one. Rates. Alright, this is a rates question. Machine A prints 16 more than machine B in every minute. So model drawing. Alright, so what do? There's a more than. So we can think of model. Machine A and machine B print a total of 608 pages in 4 minutes. So immediately, can I find 1 minute? What is the total? So you take, if 4 minutes, the total pages is 608, then machine A and B together in 1 minute, you divide by 4, right? So you take 608 and you divide by 4, and you will get 152 pages, which is together in 1 minute. And like what I said just now, there's a clue there about what method we can use, which is model. So you have A prints more than B in 1 minute, right? So this is 16 pages more than B in 1 minute, and the total is 152, right? So I use a method to help me to break down the problem by drawing out the model. So you take 152 and you minus 16, then divide by 2, and you will get 68. And 68 plus 16, I will get 84, right? So how many pages does machine A print in 1 minute? So your answer has to be 84. Answer number 3. Okay, and there's question 13, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 14, very wordy, and again, students have some difficulty doing this. But how do you break down the problem? This is a ratio problem, and is it a before and after? Nope. Every time you see a story sum, you think about whether is it a before and after, because if it's a before and after, then it will be quite easy. You have 2 ways of doing, model or table method. But this is not a before and after. Alright, so what do? Alright, now to help to break down the problem, what you can do is to write out the ratio. So a box of cookies was shared between Jesse and Lynn in the ratio 7:4. So you write out the ratio like this. Okay, and of course ratio must always have a total. Or is there a total for this ratio? the question did not talk about total, did not ask about total. So you may or may not want to put the total. It's up to you. Now, Lim then decided to share the portion of cookies with her younger brother in the ratio 5:3. So you can do some branching. Okay, some simple branching. And so you have Lin and the brother, right? And they decided to share the portion in the ratio 5:3. So 5:3. And Jessie shared her portion with her elder sister in the ratio 4:3. So you have Jessie with her sister, and the ratio is 4:3. Okay, so you break down the ratio. Okay, break down, and then among the four of them, the smallest portion was 12 pieces. So how many pieces of cookies were there at first? So there's a total there. Means your ratio must have a total. Okay, so what do you do? Okay, so this is how you do. Very simple. Now, if you look carefully, now Jessie shared her portion with herself and the sister. So there are 7 units, right? 7 units. So you just add 4 plus 3, right? Jessie and the sister, which is 4 and 3, add together is also 7. So very good. So they are all units, the same. Okay, then you look at the Lin. Now Lin is what? Lin has 4, and she shared with her brother, which is 5 and 3. 5:3, which is total 8, right? Total 8. So what you can do is you make the number the same. So how to make 4 into 8? You times 2, right? And then you will get 8 already, right? 8, right? And don't forget to times 2 here as well, which is 14, right? 14. So you have 14:8. And then don't forget to times 2 for the total, which is 14 plus 8 is 22. Okay, so now you can see that your 8 units, all right, over here is 3 plus 5 is also the same as 8 units. Okay, and then over here you have the 14 units, right? So what do? You times 2 and you times 2, right? Because if you times 2 for Jessie, then you must do the same for below, right? So you will have 14 also. So 8 plus 6 become 14, right? 8 plus 6 is 14. That's how you get 14. 5 plus 3, you get 8. That's how you get 8. All right. So now everything all become units, all the same. They are all units. All right. So what is the smallest portion? You look at the number. Look at Jessie. Jessie got 8 units. Okay, let me use a different color. So Jessie has 8. Sister has 6. Lin has 5. The brother has 3. So which means that the brother has the smallest portion, which is how many? Which is 3 units. And the 3 unit is equal to 12 pieces. So your 1 unit must be 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So how many pieces of cookies are there altogether? Which is 22 units, right? So you don't look at the old ratio, right? All the old ratios, you don't look at it already. You look at the new ratios. So there are 22 units. So there will be 4 times 22. So 88. So there are 88 cookies at first. So your answer is number 4. Okay? Alright, so let's go to the next one. Angles. So the map shows the location of 6 places, and they are squares. Alright, you can see 2 squares. Lesson here. Most students, they can't do is because they don't know how to look at the directions. Location C is south of. The word of means from. So from location E, right, from here, you go to C, right? You go to C, so that will be what direction? That will be the south. That's how you interpret. So from E, you go C. What direction is that? South. So what is your 8-point compass? Then your 8-point compass will be something like this: north, south. Then your west is always on the left side of the north, and your east is on the right side of the north. Okay? Like what do you mean? Like usually when you draw the compass, you always have north pointing upwards and the south, and the west is always on the left, and the east is always on the right. Okay, the east is on the right side of the north, right? That's how you draw usually the compass in this way. But in this question, the north is pointing in a different way. Okay, so which location is northeast from B? So you will have to start from B. Okay, start from B, and you go northeast. So where is northeast? Which is here. So you have to go to your left, right? This is your northeast. So you have to go to your left, and if you go to your left, what letter is that? That will be your A already. So you will see that the letter A is northeast from B. So answer number 1. Okay, so that's how you use that's how you draw the compass, right? But the important lesson here is to know the word off. Off means from. Okay, let's go to number 16. Okay, and what was the total time Eden took to complete the 3 spots? So you just have to add them together. So I'm going to use my calculator so we can do a bit faster. So plus 58 plus 46, you get 143 minutes, and then you have to break up into hours and minutes. So how do you break up? 60, 60, so you have 120 already. So 143 minus 120, all right, 120. So you will get another 23. Okay, got it? So that's how you break up the minutes into hours and minutes. 60, 60, and then 23. So you have 2 hours and 23 minutes. And okay, let's go to the next one. Again, how do you arrange from the lightest to the heaviest? Again, there's decimal, there's a fraction. You have to make them all the same. So what I can do is I change them all into same unit sign, all grams. That will be easier. So what is 6.35 kilogram? 6.35 kilogram, to change to grams, you have to times 1000. And you need to learn how to shift the decimal point 3 times. So you have 1, 2, and 3. And there's an empty basket, and the arrow empty basket, put a 0 inside, and there's an arrowhead, put a decimal point. So how many grams? 6350 grams. And your next one will be 6035 grams. And 6 1/3 kilogram, your 1/3 is actually 0.333333. So your 6 1/3 is 6.333 grams. So that's how you estimate. Okay, so which is the lightest? Now the lightest will have to be here. Okay, this is the lightest, which is 6 kilogram, 35 grams. And then getting a bit heavier, that will be your 6.333 grams, or 6 1/3 kilogram. And the heaviest will be your 6.35 kilogram. That's the heaviest. Okay, alright, so let's go to the next question. Okay, over here, again, some students have difficulty doing this, but it's actually not very hard because you need to put numbers onto your diagram. So don't have a clean picture, otherwise you can't see anything. So BD is 20. So draw something like this. Alright, BD is 20 cm, CD is 8 cm, and there's a fraction there, arrow pointing. So you need to know how to do arrow pointing. It means that AD is 1 unit, and your BD is 4 unit, right? If you do that, I'm sure you know how to do already. And so what is 1 unit? 1 unit has to be, if 4 unit is 20, then your 1 unit must be 5 cm. Okay, then this must be 3 units. So 3 unit must be 15, right? 15 cm. So what's the area of triangle ABC? So lesson here, you will need to highlight so that you don't get confused and find the wrong area. So this is the area of the triangle that you want to find. So how do you find the area of this triangle? So you look for the base. You have half times base. The base is one of the 3 sides of the triangle, which is your 15, and the height is right angle to the base. There's a right angle box there. So this is the height, which is the 8 cm. So the height and the base always right angle to each other. So cancel, right? And you get 15 times 4. So the area of the triangle is 60 centimeters square, right? And that's how you find the area of triangle. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, next one. What is the fraction between 2/7 and 2/5? So again, student has difficulty doing this, but it's actually quite easy. A number line, you have 2/7, 2/5, and they get stuck because they see different denominators. So what is the number in between? So all you have to do is make the denominator the same. This is the concept. You cannot compare until you make the denominator the same. So 7 times 5, 2 times 5, 5 times 7, 2 times 7, right? And you get 14. Okay, there are 2 gaps. Okay, there are 2 gaps. I agree. This is 1 gap. This is another 1 gap, right? So you have 2 gaps. We call it 2 units. So how big is 2 gaps? So 2 gaps is actually 14 minus 10. You look at the numerator, 14 minus 10, that will give you 4, right? 4. So your 1 gap is 2. So which means that the number in the middle must be 10 plus 2, you get 12. So you have 12 over 35, which is the fraction in the middle. Okay, all right, let's go to the next one. And this one, again, some students, they look at this question and they just get confused. All right, now when you see this picture, what do? You have triangles, you have rectangle. So you're supposed to find what fraction of the figure is shaded. So how do you do that? So lesson here is to make them all into something similar, into a shape that is similar, which is all maybe rectangles. You can cut them into all rectangles. So how do you cut into all rectangles? If you look at this square, there are 3 rectangles in this figure, in this square. So the entire figure will have how many rectangles? So you just take 4 squares times 3 rectangles inside. That will give you 12. So the whole figure has 12 rectangles. So try to find the rectangles that make up the shaded figure. But how? Well, you look at the you look at the triangle, which is the shaded one, the shaded inside. So how many rectangles make up this shaded triangle? Well, I know that a square has 3 rectangles inside, and this shaded triangle is actually half of a square shaded. Okay, right, this shaded triangle is actually half of a square shaded. But how do I know that? Very simple. I can draw this shaded triangle into a right angle triangle, which also has the same area as the shaded triangle. So I draw the base, all right, for this right angle triangle, and the height I draw over here, same height as the shaded triangle, right? Same height. And this is how my right angle triangle looks like. And this right angle triangle also has the same area as the square. So that tells you that you have half a square shaded, and if a square has 3 rectangles inside, then half of a square, so you divide by 2, that will tell you that 1.5 rectangle is shaded. Okay, 1.5 of a rectangle is shaded. Okay, and if 1.5 rectangle is shaded, I have another triangle. So if 1.5 rectangle is shaded, I plus another 1.5 rectangle. Okay, let me just write nicely. And I plus 1 rectangle that you can see over here, another 1 rectangle. Okay, so altogether, how many rectangles are shaded? That will give me 5 rectangles shaded. So my fraction must be 5 out of 12. So 5 over 12 of the figure is shaded. Okay, so lesson here is to make them into all similar shapes, and then you can find the fraction. All right. Okay, question 21. Let's move on. Okay, now this one again, all right, there's a mistake that students will make over here because they get confused when they see decimal answer. Now it's okay if you get a decimal for this question. When is it not okay? If you get a decimal for how many things, how many people, how many bags, and you have a decimal answer, then that is not okay. But for this kind of question, it's alright to have a decimal answer. So if y equal to 4, then you have 83 minus 74 minus 6y. 6y means 6 times 4, and then y is 4. And students forgot to minus the y, minus the 4. So this last step they forgot to do. So what I advise you is to put them all together in one step, so that you don't get confused, like what I'm doing. Put everything in one step. Don't break up the steps, because if you break up the steps, then you may forget to do something later. Okay, so you have 83 minus 74 minus 24 is 50. Then divide by 4, and then minus 4. So this is your 4 operations, right? So you have to find what is 50 divided by 4 first. So, and this is a part where they get confused, because students get confused because they thought that it must be a whole number, so they don't know how to continue from here. But it's normal to have a decimal, so you continue to divide. and you will get a decimal, which is 12.5. So 83 minus 12.5, then you minus 4. Okay, and then your 4 operations, you have to minus. So when you minus, you have to change the whole number into a decimal before you can minus another decimal. So you have 10, 2, and you have 5, 0, 7. 70.5. So 70.5, then you minus 4, and you will get your answer. Then you do your working, right? I will skip this working. You will get 66.5, right? 66.5. So your answer is 66.5. So they get stuck, they get puzzled when they see a decimal answer, but it's normal. So when is it not normal to have a decimal answer? When you're finding how many person, how many things, then you can't have a decimal already. Okay, question 22. Okay, again, this question there's confusion as well because they don't understand or they didn't read carefully. So the table shows the hours that a group of 24 students spent on building a model. They didn't read carefully, right? Students don't read carefully because they miss out something here. Number of hours spent by each pupil, right? So how do you find the average number of hours each student spent? To find the average number of hours, you will need to know the total hours. Total hours. So what we should do is you should find the total. How do you get the total? So 2 pupils did not build any model. So 2 times 0, 0 hour. 9 pupils spent 3 hours each. So 9 times 3, 27. So this is what students they did not do, right? What they did was they take 2 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5, which is the total pupils. So they get confused. Alright, so what you should do is you should find the total number of hours. So 8 times 4, 8 pupils times 4 each. So that will be 32 hours. Then 5 pupils times 5 hours each, that will be 25. So 5 times 5, right? And then after that, you have to add up all the hours, right? So you take 0 plus 27 plus 32 plus 25, then you divide by the total number of pupils. So how many pupils are there altogether? 2 plus 9, 11, 19. 19 plus 5 is 24. Alright, so let's add up the hours. So you have 27 plus 32 plus 25. You get 84 over 24, right? So again, students get confused when they get a decimal answer. So they thought that it must be a whole number, but it doesn't have to be a whole number. Okay, so you take 84 and divide by 24. Then how to do this? And then they get confused also because they don't know how to divide 2-digit number. So you need to be aware of all these things because in paper 1 you may have all kinds of things coming out. So you have 3 times 70, 24. So you have to do some guess and check. What times 24 equal 84 or very near? So you will get 72 and you get 12 as a remainder. And then how to continue dividing to get decimal? Alright, put a point 0, put the 0 down, raise up the decimal point, and 24 times 5, you get 120 and remainder 0. So what's the average? The average is 3.5 hour. And that's how you find the average. Okay, right? Alright, there's also another quicker way. Another quicker way is you may not want to get decimal because the question never asks you to write in decimal. So what you can do is you can do even faster. Since the question never asks you to write in decimal, you can just stop at fraction. Just stop over here. Just stop as fraction. And then you will get 3 and 12 over 24 hour. But just remember to change it to simplest form. So this will be faster. Then you save time and you don't need to write in decimal. Okay? Alright, let's quickly go to the next one. Question 23. Lesson here to put numbers on the bar graph. But before that, you need to count the gaps. Okay, let's read the question. The bar graph shows the food consumed by a group of pupils. The bar shows the number of pupils. The bar that shows the number of pupils that consume chicken rice has not been drawn. Okay, so what you are supposed to do is before you answer the question, you have to find the gaps. Okay, how many gaps? There are actually 5 gaps. And how do you count the 5 gaps? You don't count from 0. You count on the next line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how you get 5 unit, 10. So one gap is 10 divided by 5. Okay, then what you do, then you look at the line graph, and I think this is pointing at 120. Alright, the noodles is 120, and the dim sum is 50 minus 2, 48, and the burger will be 100, and the mee goreng will be, so use your ruler so that your eyes don't play tricks on you. So you have 52. So the mee goreng is 52, and then let's read the question. Alright, 20% of the pupils, which is 100%, right, consume chicken rice. Oh, so draw the bar that shows the pupils who consume chicken rice. Alright, so which means that 20% consume chicken rice. So that tells you that here must be 80%, and which is how many? So your 80% will be, you add all the numbers together. So you have 52 plus 100 plus 48 plus 120, and you get 320, which is 80%. Alright, shortcut. You don't have to find 1%, right? So this is a shortcut to do faster, in paper 1. So you jump, right? You jump to 20% instead of finding 1%. So you divide by 4, and the other side you also divide by 4, you get 80. Is it correct? 80, right? So you're supposed to draw the bar until 80. So where is 80? Okay, so you have to use your ruler and trace the line, and this is your 80. And of course, whatever you draw must be using a ruler. So make sure you use a ruler, okay, and put down 80. And I always like to do some light shading so that it's clearer. Alright, the rectangle looks clearer. So you have to draw a bar until 80. Alright, so do you get the answer correct? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, question 24. Okay, now this is again looks hard. Okay, but every time you see triangles in the rectangle, right? I look at these triangles, immediately I know that half. It means that these two shaded triangle, all right, these two shaded triangle is actually half of a rectangle shaded. Yeah, but how do I know that? Okay, now I am going to combine these two shaded triangles into a right angle triangle. So method here is to know how to draw a right angle triangle. So I'm going to draw the same base. I'm going to draw the base of the right angle triangle from one end to the other end of the other triangle. So it will look something like this, which is your 40 cm. That is the base of the right angle triangle. And how tall is the right angle, which is the same height, same. So I draw a right angle, and the height is at the corner, at the end of the line. That's where I draw the height, and then I join. Okay, I join, and isn't that my right angle triangle, which is the same area as the two shaded triangles? And why do I want to draw a right angle triangle? So that I can form a rectangle, a similar right angle triangle. I can form a rectangle which has two similar right angle triangles inside. So that's why these two shaded triangles is half of a rectangle shaded. Then how about the bottom? Now the bottom is the same. Right, the two shaded triangles that you see is also half of a rectangle shaded. How do I know that? Because if I look at the base of this triangle and the base of this triangle, I join them together, it will become the base of a right angle triangle. And how tall is this right angle triangle over here? And this is how my right angle triangle looks like, which has the same area as the two shaded triangles. Right? Okay, so the total shaded area is 500 cm square. So that tells you, what does it tell you? It tells you that this shaded area and this shaded area is 500 cm square, which also tells you that there is also a unshaded triangle inside, and that is also the other half, which is also 500 cm square. So the shaded area is 500 and the unshaded triangle is also 500, right? So what's the entire area? What's the area of this big rectangle? So you have 500 plus 500, that gives you 1000 cm square. So can I find what is the length of QR? So your QR, how do you find the length of QR? So you take 40 times QR, which is the side of the rectangle, and that gives you the area of the whole figure. So what is QR? 1000 divided by 40. The length of QR is 25 cm. Right, so QR is 25 cm. So method here to draw a right angle triangle, to know how to draw a right angle triangle, and that is used for solving difficult problems like this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 25. Method here. There is a method. You read the question. Tina packed some gift bags. She packed 7 bottles of hand sanitizer, 4 masks, and 2 granola bars into each gift bag. She used 117 more hand sanitizer than masks for all her gift bags. How many bars did she pack all together? Alright, so what's the method? Well, one group method is grouping method because I know one group has what inside. So the method here is grouping. So one bag, or you can call it one group, or up to you. Alright, up to you to how you want to label. So I got hand sanitizer, which is 7. I got 4 masks in one bag. I got granola bars, which is 2. And how many inside one bag? So you add together, total, you get 13, right? 13. Now she used 117 more hand sanitizer, which is how many groups? So you look at one group, go back to one group, and what do you do when you go back to one group? You look for how many more hand sanitizer than masks, which is 3 more. So one group has 3 more hand sanitizer. Then you take 117 and you divide by 3 more, which is 1 bag, and that will give you how many bags? So 117 divided by 3, you will get 39 groups or 39 bags. And if there are 39 bags, how many granola bars? Go to one bag, look for the same thing. Look for how many granola bars. So one bag has 2 bars. 39 bags will be 39 times 2. So there are 78 granola bars. Grouping method. So the method here is grouping. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, now angles. Alright, so how to do this? Yeah, there's a lesson here because for this picture there are no numbers there. So what you're supposed to do, there are some things that you must do before you solve. You need to mark out the sides. If you see a square, what must you do? You need to mark out. Okay, because this will help you to start something. And then there's an equilateral triangle. So mark out. Right? Now, why do you want to mark out all this? Because you will see something hiding, and now you will see something that is very important. But if you don't mark out, you don't see. What is that? You see an isosceles triangle. So this is the reason why students they can't solve, because they don't mark out the sides, and because they don't mark out, they do not see the isosceles triangle. So lesson here, before you solve, you have to mark out any sides that are equal. Alright, then next thing to do is to put the question mark. So angle AEB, question mark. Okay, then now we can try to solve. So how do you solve? Easy. Squares has right angle at the corners, 90. And when you cut the square into half, you cut the right angle into 45. And here is also 45. So lesson here, look for easy angles. Alright, don't look at the how to find the question mark. Look for angles that are easy. These are all easy angles to find. 60 because it's an equilateral triangle. Okay, anything else to find? Yes, there's a right angle at the corner of the square, so that's 90 again. Can I find each of these angle inside the isosceles triangle? Yes, I take 180 minus 90 minus 60, I get 30, and then 30 divide by 2, I get 15. So this is 15 and 15, right? And can I find the question mark? Yes, I can, because there is a right angle triangle. So you take 180 minus 90 minus 15, and you get 75 degrees. So your question mark is 75 degrees. Okay, so hopefully you learn a lot of things today, right? How to get the answer, but most importantly is to mark out the sides, because if you don't mark out the sides, then you won't be able to see the isosceles triangle that is being camouflaged. Okay, let's go to 27. All right. Okay, this is another question that most students have problem with, percentage problem. Okay, now, lesson over here. Before you can plus, or before you can increase, or before you can decrease, you always have to start with 100%. This is the concept. So let's draw a simple model, percentage model. There were 150 members in March. Okay, and this was an increase of 20% compared to February. So which means that February has to start with 100%. Agree? So your February has to start with 100%. Why? Because in March there was an increase. There was an increase of 20%. And so now March is what? March is now 120. Okay, so before you can plus 20%, you must always start with 100% first. Okay, and there were 150 members in March. Yeah, and then you can see that 120% is 150. So can I jump and do faster? Yeah, I can do faster. How to do faster? I want to find 100% is how many, right? How many in February? So I can actually divide by 10. So shortcut. Alright, so that you don't always have to keep finding 1% because you don't have a calculator. You need to do faster, so you do shortcuts. So divide by 10, you will get 12%, and divide by 10, you get 15, right? And then later you let me see, did I do correctly? So divide by 10. Oh, over here I can't do this way because 12 times what equal 100, so I can't do that. Okay, so let me just erase this part because this part doesn't give me 100%. So let me just erase and let's try and get 100% again. Okay, so what should I divide with? Okay, let me just erase this part. So 120% divide by what can we divide? Divide by, okay, now what happened in this case? In this case, you have difficulty trying to jump to get 100%. Then what we can do is you still find 1%, right? Still find 1%, but there's also another shortcut here. It means that you don't divide and get decimal. Don't take 150. Okay, don't take 150 divide by 120. Okay, don't do that. So what you can do is you take 150 and divide by 120, right, as a fraction. So this is the shortcut without having to divide. So leave it as a fraction. Then you want to find 100%. So you take 150 over 120 and you times 100. So we can still find 1% if we cannot jump. If you cannot jump from here to there, cannot jump, then we find 1%. Alright, but there's also a shortcut if you find 1%. So now you can cancel, yeah, and 12 divide by 2, 10 divide by 2, right? And then 6 divide by 3, and 150 divide by 3, right? 150 divided by 3 is 50. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 50 divided by 2 will be 25, right? And then you circle the numbers that you never cancel and you multiply them. So 25 times 5, right? 25 times 5 will be how many? 125 over 1. And you get 125. All right, 125 members in February. Okay, let me just have a quick check to see whether is it correct. Okay, so we have 125 members in February. Okay, in April, right, so let's have April. So April, we have how many members? We have 115 members. So which means that the rectangle is the shortest, which is 115, right? And so what is the percentage decrease in the members in April compared to February? So you have to compare April and February. So how do you compare? You look at the here, all right, compare February with April. So you can see there's a decrease. So over here, students have difficulty trying to get the percentage decrease because they know how to find the decrease. They take 125 and you minus 115, right? And you get the decrease, which is quite easy. And the decrease is 10. And then from here, and then you get stuck because you don't know how to get the percentage. Now, fractions and percentage are very good friends. So to get a percentage, you may want to get your fraction first. So what is the fraction? The numerator is the decrease, and the denominator is where you start from before you decrease. So you start from 125 before you decrease to 115. And once you get your fraction already, what do? You can make the denominator 100 or you can times 100%. So whichever way you want to use to convert to percentage. So let's make the denominator 100. So I divide by 5 and I divide by 5, right? And then later I times 4, 25 times 4, and then 2 times 4. So once the denominator is 100, how many percent decrease? Answer, 8% decrease. Okay, so that's how you get 8%. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, question 28. So what is the minimum number of squares that you must color so that AB is a line of symmetry? Okay, this is what you can do. You can do something like this. So left and right must have the same shaded parts. So over here, left and right, same. Okay, over here on the left side, on the other side, you can see that don't have. So you will have to color. Then this side, on the other side, also don't have. Also have to color, right? And then this square on the other side, you also don't have. So have to color. So you have to color 3 squares. Okay, and then you will have a line of, then you have a symmetric figure. Okay, question 29. What is, so read the question again. And before you tackle the question, you must do something first. Trapezium has 2 lines that are parallel. So put the arrowheads there. Look for Z and look for a very important property, which you will see later. Otherwise, it will be hard to solve the hard problems. And then put the question. Oh, there's one more thing here. AB is equal to AE. So you will need to mark out the sides. And it will tell you, it will tell you that this triangle is isosceles. Alright, so these 2 angles are equal. Okay, and then next thing to do is to mark out the question mark, DAE, question mark. And you are done. Alright, so now we are going to look for easy angles. So what angles can we find? Alright, if you look carefully, you can see that every time there are 2 lines that are parallel, okay, if there are 2 lines that are parallel, there is a very important properties that you must know. Angles between the 2 lines that are parallel add together is 180 degrees. So this is important because if you forget this property, then you can't solve harder problems. So you take 180 minus 106, you get 74. And this side is 74. Same. Alright, then you can find this angle here. So what's this angle? You take 180 minus, okay, 180 minus 74 minus 74, and you will get, what will you get? You will get 32. So whatever numbers you found, you got to put inside. Okay, put inside there. Alright, and then the same thing again. Alright, the same important property which I just told you, right? Just told you. Okay, what is that property? If there are 2 lines that are parallel, okay, 2 lines, the angles between the 2 lines that are parallel add together is 180. So which means that 32 plus question mark plus 101 is 180. So what's the question mark? You take 180 minus 32 minus 101, and the question mark is 47 degrees. Okay, and that's how you solve. So lesson here, when you see angle problems, right? What do? You will have to remember this property. Every time you see lines that are parallel, you have to remember that angles between 2 lines that are parallel add together is 180. Okay, this is a property that most students they forgot, and so they can't solve. They can't continue doing. Okay, last question. Now the last question, you can draw a line. This is like there's a method. A simple method here is to draw a line. Kelly has $38. What is the greatest number of muffins she can buy? The first 3 muffins is $3.20 each. Every additional muffin is $3 each. So pupils make mistake because they did not see the word each. So I draw a line, which is the method under the rates. Right? If you your P5 topic, there's a rate topic. So what we can do is we have a line to break up the first 3. Okay, this is the first 3 muffins, and how much is that? $3.20 times 3, you will get $9.60, right? Okay, so she has altogether $38, right? So if she has altogether $38, then what's the balance? What's the balance over here? How much left? How much money is left? You take $38 and you minus $9.60, and you will get $28.40 that can be used to buy additional muffins, which is $3 each. So how many muffins can you buy with $3 each? You change the dollars and cents into whole numbers, into cents. Then divide by 300 cents. Alright, you have to make sure that when you plus, minus, or divide, they must be the same units, right? So when you divide, this is what? You have to change this into cents, and then you change the $3 into cents, then divide. Alright, then shortcut. You have to do some guess and check. What times 300 equal 2,840? So 9. 9 times 300 will be 2,700, and there's a remainder of 140. What is this? It means that you can buy 9 muffins, right? 9 muffins, and there is a remainder money, leftover money, which is $1.40, which cannot be used to buy any more muffins. So in total, what is the greatest number of muffins that she can buy? So 3 plus 9 equal 12. Okay, so we come to the end of this paper 1, and it's important that you try and do the paper 1 first before you attempt to watch the video. Otherwise, it doesn't help you. Alright, it's because only after you're done, then you can look at the video to follow through your mistakes. Alright, to look at your mistakes and see what happened. Alright, and that's how you learn from your mistakes. Okay, so we come to the end of this paper 1 lesson. So stay tuned for future lessons. I may be posting some more lesson videos on paper 1. So continue to follow us. Alright, follow me on my my YouTube channel, and once in a few days or once a week, I may post some lesson videos to help you to revise for your coming PSLE. Alright, so see you in the next lesson.